morning. Good morning. So it is 2:54 a.m. I'm on my way to my favorite destination, which is anywhere in the world, really. I'm going to the gym right now, as usual. Um, Last night, I was sitting there and I was playing with Sanaya and I was playing with Silas. And I asked Silas to go get a game. I think Uno or something. I wanted to play with him. And Sanaya was sitting there and she had a quarter. And Sanaya gave the quarter to Silas. Silas took the quarter and threw it at her face. And then he got up and he tried to run from me because he seen me move. And I told him to stand still. And I spanked him. And I spanked him with my hand. And I spanked him hard. And he was crying. And he was screaming. And I kept spanking him. Because every time I heard her cry, I got madder and madder. And after I was done, I walked away and I looked at Sanaya and I said, "How are you?" And she said, "Okay." And Silas was on the ground crying. And he wasn't crying like he was faking, because I know he wasn't. He was like whimpering. And I had really regret doing that. And I sat there and I was just thinking. I was second guessing my decision. Had I given enough time in between when the situation had occurred and then when the discipline was handed out, did I give enough time, thought, and consideration to warrant the disciplinary action that I issued out? So I walk over to him and I sit down and I pick him up off the ground and I try to put him on my lap and hug him. And he doesn't want any part of that, obviously. And he breaks free of my grasp and goes into his room, whimpering and crying. I say all this to say, there's a lot of times in life where we're so quick to react that the action that we take off of that quickness sometimes doesn't justify what really needs to be done. And after thinking about it, I believe that there was other ways I could have handled it, but I also feel fully justified and disciplining him in the action that I did and in the time and the speed that I did, because I needed him to understand that you don't do that at no cost. And that if he was to cause pain to his little sister, then I would be all right with causing pain to him. Right or wrong, has nothing to do with it. It was a decision that I made. And a lot like life, you got to make these decisions, right or wrong. You got to sum up the situation. You got to evaluate. And sometimes you have to react. Now, we all have our discretionary time periods that we're willing to react. In business, I'm not willing to react to a business transaction short of 24 to 48 hours. Matter of fact, if I even write a contract, my contract is 24 to 48 hours. That I need to give a response or I need to get a response. 24 to 48 hours. I felt bad about it. But I also learned to trust my instincts, trust my intuition, trust my thoughts, trust my actions, trust my decisions. I've developed a trust with myself. So I may feel bad. It may seem as if I didn't give enough time in between the action and the reaction to create the right disciplinary needed. But I trust myself enough to know that I made the right decision. And yeah, probably this morning I'll take him to breakfast. Right? Because I still, for the life of me, have no idea why he threw that at her face. At point blank range, I have no idea. We're just sitting there and he just threw it at her face. I'm like, what the hell is that? But the moral of the story is no matter how I feel, because sometimes your feelings are all over the place, I trust my decision. That comes from making a lot of them. That comes from making sometimes the wrong ones. But I trust my decision. And the quicker you start to learn to trust your decision, the faster you start recycling through problems and issues. Because not everything deserves 24 to 48 hours of deliberation. Sometimes things need to be swift. And yes, sometimes you're not going to feel good about it. My hand doesn't feel good about putting it on his ass. But if there's one thing I know about my relationship with Silas, it's that I've never disciplined him and he did not know why he got disciplined. And it was never out of anger. So not only is making the decision important, but knowing why you made that decision is equally important.